How many of you want to be in television or movies here? Okay, here's your chance. You have one of the most powerful women in television and movies coming here today. She made Vidya Balan hot in Dirty Picture. She made overweight middle-aged men sexy in Bade Achhe Lagte Hain. She made people sit up and notice Imran Hashmi again in Once Upon a Time. Saas or Bahu, love, sex or dhoka. Ekta Kapoor is probably the most powerful and the most watched person in entertainment today. How does she choose her stars? How does she know which film will work or not? How did she go from being a star kid to a star maker, all at the age of 19? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of my favorite people, Ekta Kapoor, who will tell you how she keeps it real in a really surreal world. Ekta, the podium is all yours. Come.
Some of us are more comfortable behind the screen and extremely awkward in front. But it's fun addressing such a young forum. How's Delhi today? Is it rocking? दिल्ली वाले तो मुझे पहले से ही बहुत बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं. So definitely it's fun for me to be here. I started from my dad's garage, as everyone knows. I was the proverbial fat star kid who ate the whole day, and I was the living couch potato. I used to sit on in my house couch on a massage chair and watch every American show possible. And then my dad said, either you can do two things. You can either get married or get a job. I mean, getting married was a very scary option then. As you can see, nothing has changed even now. So I said I'll go and get a job, and I worked somewhere. And then my dad said, would you do something? I'll invest. So I said, I'll make television. So he got a friend of his to invest in a company, do a co-production. The friend saw my show and said, this is never going to work. So he backed out. So we were left with a lot of television and no one to buy it. And then I went ahead and said, okay, let's sell it in India. So I think that was my beginning in television. Then I went into films. I thought it was a fun journey because it was something that I never knew what's going to happen next. It was so unpredictable. It was like I didn't even know who's writing the script, but it was getting written all the while. That's my journey, and the rest of it I'll leave to Kaveri to do a Q&A.
I've got loads of questions for you. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. We are going to begin with some of the myths about you. What's the worst thing you've ever done to people who work for you? I've heard you've thrown shoes, mobiles. What else?
You want me to be honest?
Yes, of course.
I don't think I've done anything to anyone, but once I did break an editing table.
Oh, how did that happen?
I saw a bad episode. It was 4 in the morning. We were working for like 48 hours. And the edit table did break.
What makes you choose a star especially? Because there's sometimes when you have auditions, 2,000 people land up, 2,500, you go to small towns, you see, a blur of faces, I'm sure. So how do you choose?
See, it's the power of visualization. When you visualize your character, you've almost seen the person before you actually see the person. So if I have to see, like I knew I'm going to get a certain look for a character that I'm casting. So if I have to audition thousands of people for it, or hundreds, it can happen in the very first phase. But I need to know that because I need to actually first see those billion faces and then say, okay, this is the face I want to take for my show. And I think it's also got to do with the way, you come across faces, you're always looking around when you're casting for a new show. And sometimes it just happens in a minute, sometimes it takes months. I remember there was a show once on air, and it was a Marathi show. I was switching channels and I saw it, and there was a girl right at the back, and she was your now Shweta Tiwari. Oh. And I told these guys, I said, she's just doing a Marathi show on a regional channel. Please find her, and that's how she got cast.
Okay, but who's your favorite? Ram Kapoor currently?
I like Ram because he's like me.
That's not true. But of course, one thing I have to tell you about Ekta, I think that's what makes her so endearing. She's very real. in the sense that she's obsessed about the same things that all of us are, your weight, how you look. And I think that's very endearing. But how do you do that? Because I think that's what makes good television. That's what makes good movies.
I mean, if I lose base with my viewer or with the people I'm dealing with daily, I'll never be able to make television. Television is about the masses, about real issues that we all deal with day in and day out. So it could be a marriage issue. I may not know it in real life, but you can almost understand these issues because you know real people around you. So I think, I don't know if I'm real, but I'm definitely wholesome.
Okay, we take your word for it. Also, I think the move you made from sort of destroying Indian marriage and, being this person who created this war between, the Saas and Bahu and all these extramarital affairs, to now actually exploring romance and middle-aged romance also sometimes. How has that journey been?
I think with every year, I think I matured with the TV audience. I think TV was only 2-3 years old, cable television, when I got in. So I think we all had to first see things which were peripheral, then actually go deeper, understand deeper emotions. So I think I grew with television, so it really was a journey for me and my viewer. So if anyone tells me, how do you know your viewer? I said, because we watch the same things and we like the same things.
And of course the ratings tell you. The ratings tell you.
Ratings tell all of us everything.
So every Wednesday when the ratings come in, is it like nerve-wracking for you?
Now it's no longer nerve-wracking on Wednesdays. It's Wednesdays and Fridays when the movie releases. So your weekend is packed. So you cannot have a weekend.
Right. And some of the movies you've made, I think that's what's interesting. They've been very edgy. Some people have been shocked that you've made these. Love, Sex or Dhoka. I think a lot of people here must have watched that movie. How did you choose that?
I think Love, Sex or Dhoka came to me because I almost had seen all these various relationships in my office. I mean, I think we've seen young people, we've seen how casting happens, you've seen how promiscuity, whatever the word is no longer a taboo. It's more to do with how popular I am or how happening I am. So, I mean, and sex is no longer something that is hidden under the carpet. So, we were looking out for something which actually gave us this new dimension, the new psyche of urban India as far as sex goes. And I think Love, Sex and Dhoka came to us at the right time. We were also launching a new brand called Old. And I said, let me do something that definitely is not expected of me.
Right. And you've continued to shock people with Dirty Picture and Ragini MMS. And you plan to do more of that?
Yeah.
But how do you, is that when you watch that movie with your parents or when you watch it with...
I don't watch movies with my parents.
What do you watch with your parents?
I have dinner with my parents at times. I don't watch anything with my parents.
And an interesting thing about Ekta is also the fact that she lives at home, although she has built a house for herself. Yeah, tell us a little about that. That's very interesting.
I actually live with my parents because I tried to move out and then I couldn't handle doing housework, doing house accounting and everything. So I moved back and I couldn't live alone. I just couldn't live alone. I think it takes a lot of courage to live alone. So I've gone back to my parents' house.
And in that sense, I think she's like a lot of kids because she has trouble waking up. You have to be woken up by your mum every day?
Yeah. My mum, my staff, anyone who can wake me up has to wake me up. Of course, a lot of people don't venture there, but that's okay.
And are you easier with your staff now?
I think I am. I think I'm an easier person. I think I've changed a lot. I think I had huge issues dealing with success, huge issues dealing with the workload I had. I had huge issues delegating work. I think you grow up. I think if you ask me one word to describe my good and bad points in life, or the reason to describe it, I would say too much too soon. So I think.
At some point, did you sort of lose sight of who you are?
Of course. I don't think. 100%.
And then how did you get back?
I think all of us have to lose sight to actually get back because the biggest learning curve comes from making mistakes, and I think I did that. A lot of it, in fact.
And you also work with a very young staff, don't you? So you become like their
I think I've
nursemaid.
become younger. When I was 25, I felt much older. At whatever my age is now, I feel much younger. Because at no point did I feel that when I was younger, I was always doing much like family shows, and now I'm doing younger movies also.
Yeah.
And working with the younger staff gives you the perspective of people in the future. Secondly, television is not conducive for older married people. The kind of work hours required, the kind of work required, even any of us, if we were married, the married girls have a huge issue because they can't go home at 9, and even if they're not working with me, the edit can happen at 4 in the morning and the tape has to be delivered. So either if you're working in a news channel or in a production house, as far as television goes, deliveries, editing, scripting, the amount of work, the quantity versus the quality is definitely not really something that you can give you easy timelines.
So how do you keep it together? How do you keep the staff together? How do you, get your youngsters motivated?
I think I don't have to live up. I think most of them do it for themselves. If you do not give them a success, we have enough examples from Balaji that have grown on to being either channel heads or production heads, or writers who've now become producers on their own, or actors who are now top stars. For them to actually then go out and say, I'm not doing this for anyone, I'm doing this for myself. And all of us would want to work in a way where we feel that working here, they feel proud working in Balaji. At the end of it, they all go home knowing that they're not doing substandard work. They're not doing work for the sake of just making television. Everyone is passionate, driven. Everyone knows at the end of it, the upside or the eventual outcome will be great. So I think that's the way it's going to be.
And in terms of what works, how do you decide? What strikes you? Is
If
it your
anyone
gut?
tells you that they know what works, they're lying. You can say, I have a similar taste to the viewer. So if it works for me, it works for them. That's what I can imagine, hope, or pray.
Okay, we'll take some questions from the audience. Okay. No auditions here. Okay? Yeah, please. For that they have to queue up, right? Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am.
Please identify yourself, yeah.
Yeah, myself, Karan. And ma'am, before I start my question, I want to tell you that we all love you. And
I love you too.
ma'am, I'm just telling everyone here in the public, because I'll tell you after that. And before
There's a
going
big
to sleep, even though we don't want, we have to hate you. Now, because
It's a love-hate relationship, my friend.
ma'am,
They always work better.
Ma'am, because at some point or the other, every one of us have felt the pain of staying apart. Now, before I start my actual question, ma'am, please don't give this answer कि इसके लिए आपको serial देखना पड़ेगा, या you have to wait for some time so that Ma'am, सच बता दो, when will Ram and Priya meet?
Great.
Okay, just for you, for the first time, I'm saying it next Thursday.
Okay, yes. That lady in the black, yes. So we finally get to see them together. Great. I can't wait. Yes.
There are a lot of women, specifically housewives. I've been hearing from a lot of my relatives that they don't, after watching a series or a serial, Ekta Kapoor serials, they don't really enjoy them, but they're hooked to it. Somehow at the end of it, they're like, "Aaj fir se wahi dikhaya," and it's very irritating, it's annoying, but then they want to see it again and again. And do you think it's a good thing that's happening? And do you really, I also feel that somehow they are degrading the mind of the Indian women. They have nothing much to, they have a lot of free time, and they are hooked to the serials, but somehow I also feel that they are degrading the minds of the Indian women. Do you think?
You think entertaining yourself is degrading your mind?
Such entertaining, I personally do feel.
You think
I
so?
don't see all your series, but
But you think, I'll tell you one research that was carried out, not by us,
Okay.
not by anyone in India, but an American association completely. They said the first time women took a decision making took any decisions at home was after they started watching Indian soaps. Because at one point, most of the decisions were made by the men in the house for even home issues. And after most of the women saw Tulsi, Parvati, women taking decisions as far as the house, in the periphery of the house goes, they actually took decisions. This is a official research, and I'll send you some papers if you give me your email ID.
Okay, the lady in the orange. Yes.
Hi Ekta.
Hi.
Hi Ekta. There's a question. From Saas bhi kabhi bahu thi, hum panch, then to the dirty picture, kya super cool hai hum, you've definitely come a very long way. So what was this change? Saas be saucy.
Darling, the change you saw late. It was always there. I didn't do movies at that time, but I thought films are a personal, individualistic experience. While family viewing, as in television, is something that you see with a lot of other people. So the communal viewing or the home viewing is completely different in experience. When I got a chance, I showed you the other side. And that's why I alt.
Yes, that gent. Sorry. Okay. Yes, please. That lady in the yes. That.
Hello. Ma'am, you started with Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. Then you came to Bade
I started with Hum Panch.
Okay, Hum Panch, Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. Then Bade Achhe Lagte Hain, and now Dirty Picture. What's next?
Next is Once Upon a Time 2. A lot of sequels, Ragini MMS 2. And as far as a landmark program or movie goes, for me it's going to be Jodha Akbar, which I plan to launch end of the year. Epic love story.
Yes. Please.
A very good evening to you. I wanted to ask you that as television is a little family thing. So showing a bit of adult matter in the television screen, don't you think it's a little bad?
Like what?
Like we saw in Bade Achhe Lagte Hain.
I think there was one case between two mature adults, absolutely peripheral, and I don't think it was adult content as such. It was a natural progression for a show. It was one episode in 300, 400 episodes, actually now 700 episodes. I think that much we could give the couple because a lot of people wanted to see the consummation. And one little kiss I don't think is such a big problem. I think that much adult we all can handle.
Yes, the boy in the t-shirt, the striped t-shirt, yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, when are we going to have seasons on Indian television? Like we have in US.
Okay.
Like Vampire Diaries, they have seasons. Here we just have twist in the leaps.
Oh, season.
I want to put your question to all the channels. I've been pushing for seasons for the longest time. I promise you the day they start seasons, I won't do any more leaps.
And no 5-year, 10-year leaves. That boy in the checked shirt, yes. Please.
You seem to have an obsession with letter K. What happened with Bade Achhe Lagte Hain?
The K obsession went in 2009.
So why the change?
It was a brand name issue. It was like, I thought it worked and it just worked for me till then. When it stopped working, I didn't keep it with me.
And you also stopped misspelling your name.
I never misspelled my name. I don't know. It was like a myth out there.
Okay, yes. The boy in the t-shirt, the green t-shirt, yes.
Hello ma'am, I'm from Sushant School of Art and Architecture.
Nice to meet you.
Yes ma'am, same to you. And how come people never died in Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi?
Haji?
How come people never died in Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi? 6 generations going on all together. How is that possible?
You know, I'm telling you one thing. That's one question I even can't answer. Iska koi jawab nahi hai. Just then, I was like, Bar died on the last episode of Kyunki. You know, we had this belief that the day Bar dies, the show will end. And exactly 4 episodes later, the show ended. मुझे यार हर जगह पे प्लीज ये मत पूछो कि क्यों मर के लोग वापस आते हैं. दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन दैट्स थ्रोन एट मी एवरीवेयर. जब तक शो चलेगा लोग मर के वापस आएंगे.
Yes, this boy in the white t-shirt, white shirt rather. Yes. Yeah, they never go away.
Good evening, ma'am. You said in a speech about that you are a great follower of American television, and my question is, there's a certain stereotype that is being followed in Indian television at the moment. We are not getting shows like Breaking Bad or 6 Feet Under. I think you might know about them. And what I am expecting is, there's a certain, your shows basically, or the other ones which we see in television today, are targeting women itself and not men or teenagers or for someone like us who would rather watch something different, something totally different, and something that actually requires a sense of imagination of brain to not know what is going to happen in the next. I already know what is going to happen 1 month later in your show.
I'll tell you what, television has a big crisis it's facing now, which is like, what comes first, the egg or the chicken? Which means that till you don't watch TV, there won't be entertainment for you on television. And till we don't make entertainment for you on television, you won't watch TV. So there is this huge question that keeps coming up, why isn't there youth programming for youngsters on television? Because youngsters don't watch TV. They come home, they let the television being their mother's domain or their sister's domain or their bhabhi's domain, and they go out. And they try to get whatever entertainment they want to get on the computer or their iPads. That is the very reason that people like us who want to make a Breaking Bad in India don't get a chance to make it, and you won't get a chance to see it.
But you do make shows like Gumrah occasionally.
Yeah, we occasionally do small non-GEC programming like Gumrah, and there is of course 2-3 more coming on, which are young urban shows, which are slightly more edgy, but we can't do it on mainstream television because of the very reasons I told you.
Yeah, that's the girl here? Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Vidita. I have not only a question for you, but for everybody who makes a serial or a soap in India. Why are all the stories so predictable? They're almost the same, like the guy will meet a girl and...
I tell you one thing, I come back to the same question. Just check out the ratings in the last 10 years of television. It's the same stories that get more ratings than the different ones. Unfortunately for us, if you don't watch different television, we can't make different television. It's not in our hands. The day we can, I would love to make programming which is different, but till you don't watch it, I can't make it.
One last question to that girl there. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question about your movie, The Dirty Picture. Personally, I loved the movie, and I have to see it on internet because it was totally cut out on the TV. So yeah, in a country like India where you can go and worship Shivling in the mandir, people can't watch a woman exposing her cleavage. What is your stand on that?
You tell me, my friend, in a country where we show men romancing 10 women, we can't show a woman having 3 relationships in a film.
Exactly. What is your message to such people?
I think we need to relook at the word censor.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you very much, all of you. And any more questions, you can line up for auditions, right?
And thank you guys. It's been a great evening. I haven't seen a more energetic and fun audience. I think it's in you that our country lies, the future of our country lies. Jai Mata Di.
Thank you, Ekta, and thank you, Kaveri. We're going to be presenting a token of appreciation to Ms. Kapoor here, but we're going to be breaking out of tradition. We're going to get a young delegate who's asked the best questions in this evening, and I hope we have a popular consensus on that. We're going to call upon young Karan, who's posed some very dynamic questions through the day. Karan, can I ask you to come and present a token of appreciation? I hope we all agree with our choice. Thank you, Ms. Kapoor. Thank you, Ms. Kapoor. Thank you, Karan.